Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 111. On this show we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross, from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Today I have with me a full hangout with some new faces and some familiar ones. So it's going to be quite a lively episode with lots of different perspectives. First off, getting through the announcements, Bandwidth sponsor for this episode is brought to you by Patriot Patch Co. Check out patriotpatch.co to see the newly added patches that we've added for pre-order. We've got an AR-15 bolt head, bolt face patch. We got a reloading patch. We got some cool video game inspired patches. It says it's dangerous to go alone. Take this, and it's got an AK. We're adding an M4 version up there on the website. If you're a fan of Legend of Zelda, old school Nintendo Game Boy video games, you might be familiar with that. So check them out at www.patriotpatch.co. Also, we're doing a Christmas giveaway. All you gotta do is leave us an iTunes review, paste or post the screenshot on Facebook, and mention your favorite episode in that post and why, and you'll be entered to win a swag pack from Patriot Patch Co. And so that's going to end on Christmas. So I won't be able to get you some things before Christmas, but after Christmas you'll get a nice little patch swag pack from myself. So make sure you do that. That's going to be all on our Facebook page, but I do want you to leave us a review on iTunes because that's good for the podcast overall. Guests are welcome, and you'll hear from a guest to a new listener this week, so stay tuned for that. Also, use the promo code RTTCombo10. That's RTTCOMBO10 to get 10% off your next order at Bravo Concealment. Bravo Concealment is a maker of some nice Kydex holster systems, both inside the waistband and outside the waistband, so give them a look and you'll save 10% on your order using that promo code. So now, guys, welcome. I've got Rob, TJ, Chad, Tony, and we have a new listener with us this week, Steven. So
how's it going, Ryan?
Sound off, guys.
Hey, guys.
Everybody at once.
Everybody at once. Yeah, no order whatsoever.
We also have another new guest, Ryan Stavor, sitting in the frame.
That's right. This is my co-host today. He's straight from Israel. Actually, his family's from Israel, but he's actually made in the USA or born in the USA. This was my my Christmas prize to myself early, and yeah, I got one.
He's so excited. He's just got to hold it while we.
Exactly. It's so small. It can sit on my knee like a child at Christmas time. I can bounce it up and down, keep it nice and soothed. I did replace the trigger with a Geisley almost immediately. I do have my Geisley hat on. I got some sweet swag from them. World of difference, folks. I'm going to do a review on that. Probably won't be till the future, but.
This just in from Nick from Practically Tactical. Quote, Tavors are stupid, in all caps.
You're stupid.
Well, you're stupid, Nick.
That's hurtful.
Yeah. Cryptic hats with Griffin armament patches are stupid. I'm just guessing that's what he's wearing.
Probably.
Oh,
so,
Nick.
Steven's the new panelist here. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
We're good. I'm good. Can't speak for everybody else.
Well, I'm good over here.
Well, before we all get into, I guess, what we did in guns this week and banter, since you're new, I'm going to give you the floor first and maybe introduce yourself and a little bit of your expertise or how long you've been listening to the show.
Sure, absolutely. I've been listening to the show probably right around a year and some change now. Background on me, my name is Steve Ingersoll. I'm a military veteran. I did 2 tours in Iraq. I've been a police officer here in North Carolina. I'm not doing that now. Right now I'm a firearms instructor for a private security company, and I've been spending a lot of time doing that and managing contracts for them and trying to keep my guys out of trouble.
Cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, what did everyone do in guns lately? I guess we can start I'm just going to start with Chad since he's the first one on the left in my hangout.
Well, you get to start with the most boring person here because I did absolutely nothing in guns except carry.
That's an acceptable answer. Carrying is good. Always carry. Rob, how about yourself?
I did about the same thing as Chad because this is the end of the year and time to get a bunch of projects put in before we lose the budget money. And my job in IT is to get these projects put in. So I've had no life for the last month.
Okay.
So.
And Steve, did you do anything in guns recently you want to talk about?
Well, I carry every day, so that's my big thing that I do in guns every day. Last night I went out to my garage and took my AR apart so I could send it off to get the lower Cerakoted. So that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to a new color on that.
Cool. And TJ?
Oh, about the same as Chad. I guess the only thing additionally is I pre-ordered a flashlight. It's not a Surefire, but I pre-ordered a new flashlight that hopefully it'll come in before the next show and I'll be able to talk a little more in depth about it.
Cool. And Tony, I'm assuming you touched some triggers lately?
I did some awesome stuff. I didn't touch any triggers other than dry firing, but I started my next AR build because of Cyber Monday. Picked up a high-speed, low-drag bolt from AIM Surplus. Nickel boron coated plus something else coated. Super duper made in, I don't know, wherever the hell Thor comes from. That's what it's made at, and it's awesome.
Cool.
And I picked up a bunch of Geisler stuff.
Gotta love that Geisler stuff. Yeah, they had a Black Friday sale, and it was all thanks to you, actually, because you said something about it, and I checked their website just to see what deals they had, and I knew I was going to get the Super Sabra trigger pack, but I didn't realize that actually Cyber Monday, if you buy the trigger pack for the Tavor, they give you the lightning bow trigger, which is like $100 value for free. So I got the trigger pack and the trigger. Of course, this one's going to be a little bit more labor intensive, the trigger, because you got to remove the handguard, or the rail and the barrel, and I haven't done all that much reading into the manual yet, so I just put in the trigger pack because that's the easiest thing to do, and it made it a world of difference. It felt like before it felt like I was pulling the trigger on like a Tavor using a coat hanger. I'm sorry, pulling the trigger on a Mosin Nagant with a coat hanger. It was just really long and stiff, and I understand the whole all bow pups suffer from poor triggers because of the transfer bar. But popping in that Geisler trigger pack in there, which takes under a minute, holy cow! It's why didn't it come like that from the factory? And it automatically made it felt more like just a single stage AR trigger. So this lightning bow trigger is supposed to make it feel like a two-stage match trigger, and then it is there's some adjustable components in here to lighten the trigger pull, which I don't know if I'm going to do, but stay tuned for that. I haven't shot this baby yet, but I will. I've got some reviewing to do of multiple items that I've been kind of a little bit falling behind on. It's been pouring rain for a week straight, so I'm going to blame it on that. And, yeah, hope you guys will see more of that in the future here. But cool stuff. So let's get right into the first item today. We're going to talk about the Honor Defense Honor Guard 9mm subcompact. This pistol came out pretty recently, didn't it, TJ?
Yeah, I think it was probably no more than a month ago, I think, when we started kind of seeing stuff about it. I think at the, the NSGW, the Sporting Arms Good Show or something along those lines. That apparently was in New Orleans.
It was down near you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an hour and 20 minutes away from me, and I didn't know about it, so I totally could have taken a day off of work and gone there, but apparently it's a pretty small show, kind of like SHOT and NRA, just kind of that same vibe, but a lot smaller. But apparently it's a pretty good show. I wish I could have gone, but yeah, the Honor Guard. It's a new single stack compact carry 9, and it's very, at first glance, it's very shieldy. And the Smith & Wesson Shield, it just kind of has that same form factor, I guess you can say. And actually, I think they share the magazines except they're modified a little bit for the Honor Guard. I'll get into that in a minute. But the basic specs of it right now, they have their subcompact, which is 3.2-inch barrel, 22 ounces, 4.6-inch height. Assume that's with the flush fit magazine, and it has the 7 and 8 round magazines, just like the Shield comes with from the factory. Trigger pull of about 7 pounds. It doesn't appear to have that swinging trigger safety that the Shield does, which is good, because that's just a weird trigger feel, I guess, to a lot of people. So it's a pretty cool option. And one thing I really like, good feature, is they did something that Smith & Wesson didn't do right out of the gate, and a lot of people don't, but they kind of like Ruger did as well, is when those came out, they came out with the magazine or with the safety version, and then later they said, oh, people don't want the safety, let's get rid of it. Well, Honor Guard is giving you the option right out of the gate whether or not you want the manual safety, which I think's a good idea, because some people want it, some people don't. So you just give them the option. And let's see, it is rated for Plus P. It has a lot of ambidextrous controls. The slide catch and the magazine release are ambi, and that's where the magazine comes into play as being different from the Shield. It uses this, I don't exactly know, I haven't seen a lot of pictures of it, but it's kind of like this little nub that pokes out the front, so it's able to be ambidextrous. So it's a little different than the Shield, so you can't just throw a Shield mag in it, but they are the same. Honestly, I think they're the same magazines, just with a little bit of like a little extension on the front, so just to give people a kind of form factor. Right now, with the subcompact, there's 3 different options. They have the plain 3.2-inch barrel, and then they have one with the manual safety. So they have one with, one without, and then they have what they're calling their FIST frame, which stands for Firearm Integrated Standoff. So basically what this does is it extends past the frame a little bit, or past the end of the barrel, to where, if somebody's, let's say, you're in a fight, somebody's on top of you or got you against a wall or something like that, and you just push the gun like into their gut, kind of like belly gun, like they say. And if you push too hard or you're too close to them, you might push it out of battery. But what this FIST device does, it extends a little bit past the slide, keeping them from being able to push the slide out of battery and rendering your gun dysfunctional, which is it's a pretty cool feature. I think it's going to be lamented just because it kind of looks funny, and I think people are going to say, oh, that's dumb just because it's not conventional, but I think it can have some utility, especially as like a backup gun. You might be in that type of situation, so I could see its utility. I just don't, I'm not entirely sure if people are going to take to it. I guess we'll have to get some feedback with it, but I think the cool thing with it is they did something similar to what SIG did with their 250 and 320s, where you have that kind of modular design with the little, where you kind of, the trigger pack is the serialized frame. So if you buy the standard one and you want to try the FIST out, you can buy the FIST separately, put it on. If you don't want to, you can take it off, kind of thing, go back and forth as you see fit. And then without too much hassle, I suppose. One thing that kind of stands out is the slide serrations to the standard. Like most handguns just have the rear slide serrations, but what they did on the Honor Guard, they wrapped it all the way from the left to the right, across the top, so you have those top serrations that a lot of people get done aftermarket, and then it also has the front serrations that go over the top too, so that can help in racking off like a belt or a table or something along those lines. And also the grip looks a little more aggressively stippled than some guns come from the factory. So it looks like they took into some aftermarket considerations and decided to put them in factory. So I think that'll be pretty cool to look at, and really interested in see how they're going to perform. And the thing that really drew me to it, that really stood out to me, is they're going to be offering a 4-inch frame, or a 4-inch slide. The frame is going to be the same length, so you're going to have your 7 round, and then your extended 8 round. But the slide is going to be 4 inches, or the barrel, it's going to be 4 or 3.8. I don't think they don't spec it on their website right now. It just says a long slide version of the family of firearms coming soon. Check back for updates. So I think that's pretty cool, because one thing, when I started carrying Appendix, I put the Shield. I started carrying Appendix when I got my Shield, and actually it's kind of weird. It seems counterintuitive to where the barrel being shorter makes it harder to conceal, because it's like the barrel's so short that it allows the gun to kind of flop forward in my waistband to where the grip protrudes away from my body. So I was thinking to myself as soon as I got it, man, like a 4-inch shield would be perfect. And this is exactly that form factor, so it's pretty neat. I'm hoping they prove themselves, and there's a lot of buzz about them, so I'm sure we'll see plenty of reviews.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, I don't know if I heard you say anything about the rear sight.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, isn't it ever so slightly angled forward and kind of squared off?
Okay, yes, so
go ahead.
Yeah, one thing with the sights that I didn't mention, and I don't know that they say it on their website, but I watched a video from the NASGW friend of mine, Paul with Safety Solutions Academy. He did a video about it, and these sights are actually interchangeable with the Glock 43 sights. So, everybody makes aftermarket stuff for Glock, so I guess they figured they'd use the most common one. But the one that it looks like comes from the factory, they're I'm not sure if they're angled forward or if they're just flat, but they give you that nice flat face so you can rack it off of something hard or off of a belt or a holster or something like that if need be. So that's a really good consideration. I like that because it's almost like with the shield, it slopes, like that Novak style. It slopes. There's absolutely no way you're racking that off of anything. So, yeah, that's a very good consideration.
Yeah,
I like the way they put this together. I think they did what Ruger started doing, which was looking for the good ideas in the aftermarket stuff everybody else puts on their subcompacts and putting it on stock. It's out of the way. This is what people want. As far as the fist or fast?
Fist.
I think
standoff device.
Yeah, the fist. I had to get. Yeah. Anyway, us in the gun industry, as much as we say we're cutting edge, are a bunch of traditionalists for the most part. I've been around since the introduction of polymer, when they call it Wonder Nines and Tupperware, combat Tupperware. It's an idea, much like, in my opinion, the forward assist is not something you'll probably ever use, the forward assist on the AR-15. But when you need it, you need it. And
right.
It's okay. I like the fact that they want to come out with a 4-inch version of it, because when you do carry something in the waistband, when it's subcompact, it feels as if it's trying to fall out the entire time.
Right, there's not enough barrel to keep it vertical.
Yeah, exactly. I carried a 1911, and it fell firmly in place because, of course, one, it was heavy, but two, it had enough barrel to hold it in place so it didn't move around a lot, other than the holster choice I chose. But other than that, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I like the idea. The price point is kind of high.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. The price point, the MSRP is $499, which I'm looking up the Shield right now. I know the MSRP on the Glock 43 is above 500, if I believe, and the Shield is right around 450, 470, something like that. So it's kind of in between the Glock 43 and the Shield as far as pricing. So when it comes out, it'll probably be right around 400, hopefully, which maybe a little more expensive than some people want to pay, but honestly, it's not terrible.
Yeah, this fist device also, as you guys were saying, with the way it extends down, it'll help carry appendix also.
Yeah, I think what the fist is basically the 4-inch frame on the 3.2-inch slide, I think, is kind of
that's what I wondered. But also, the front of the fist is also serrated.
Yeah, it is. I think kind of, I guess they're naming, because Tony seemed to be scoffing at the fist. I guess it's kind of like, you're punching. You punch them with it and shoot kind of thing. Maybe that's their kind of thinking. So yeah, it is serrated, so it doesn't slide off of, anything it catches if you're using it for that,
I think my scoffing is just at marketing in general, that everything has to be this little cute name, and it's like, no, I mean, if it means something, fine, but stop forcing it, please. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Could be get fisted.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right,
okay, so for reference, the Shield is $449 MSRP, and we know where that we know where they're right around $350. range, so we could probably expect it to be somewhere around 400 when it comes out.
Yeah, I think the new Shield, the Performance Center one, is right around that $500 mark, if I remember right.
490 is the MSRP at least. So yeah, it's pretty comparable. And then when you think about the some of the aftermarket features that people pay to have put on these guns, like the forward cocking serrations, the top cocking serrations, the sights that you could use, the stippling on the grip, it's definitely a heck of a lot more than $100 worth of work done to a shield to make it comparable. So it's definitely
absolutely.
It's comparable. And then I think the trigger's aluminum. It doesn't look like that molded plastic. It doesn't say, but it looks aluminum. I know some people will appreciate.
It looks more like one of the SIG 230 triggers or something similar to that.
It does have that SIG look to it.
And now that I'm looking at it, for whatever reason I skipped by it. It has interchangeable back straps, like a lot of companies are starting to put on guns. The Shield or the Glock, neither one of those have those, and those are, I guess, the kind of direct competitors in this realm. So that is pretty neat. It has the kind of the slim back strap and then the little bit beefier, I guess, depending on your hand size, which one you'd use. So that's awesome. I don't know if they designed it as closely, like I don't know if they took into consideration using Shield accessories, but the same shape. So I'm thinking you might even like the laser guards and stuff like that. That would be really awesome. That would be great on their part to do that. Make it for something that aftermarket availability is already there for.
Yep.
I was looking at it earlier today, and the thing that immediately popped into my mind when I was looking at pictures of it is, man, that thing looks exactly like a Ruger SR9 and a Shield got together and had a baby.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Probably pretty accurate.
The guy who started the company, did you guys hear an interview? I listened to an interview with him. He used to work for Beretta. He used to work for Beretta. He had industry people that he knows. He used industry insiders and actual shooters to help design this. And one of his things, which was the SIG that had the frame and then had all the accessories that you hooked, you know what I mean? The trigger group and all that was one piece.
Yeah.
The 250.
Yeah. So he saw that and he said, you could buy multiple barrels with it at the time. They sold them at the time. And he said that was a waste because you could sell more guns. And most people really just kept the one gun they had. They didn't continually take it apart and make it a subcompact, make it a compact, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he decided to do it this way, which I think is smart. He added the features, which I think is genius because it's what everybody does anyway. And he sells it at about in between price point. My only thing is coming to market in between the price point when no one knows who you are.
Yeah, that's a big risk.
It's going to work for.
At the same time, you can't come in too cheap.
I mean, there's two ways to handle it.
You can't come in
too cheap. They think you're garbage.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things I've heard, and I think it's kind of silly, is people are saying on the slide of the gun, it's got their name is Honor Defense and the name of the gun is Honor Guard. And I think on the slide of the gun, it says Honor Guard, real big font engraved into the side, and people are saying, why do they have to put their logo so big? And I'm like, kind of like thinking, really, if you're picking apart the logo, just come on. I know we did it a little bit with the grip zone for XD, but I think that was more the fact that it was just kind of a little unnecessary to have grip zone, but to have your logo on the gun, it's kind of a.
Everybody does that.
Yeah, everybody puts their logo.
Well, Colt gets on my nerves with that darn pony, and they just splash it all over. Get out of here! Stop with your silly complaints.
So let's see. I'm trying to. Did anybody happen to see anything I may have missed?
No, covered it pretty well. Better than I would have.
Well, thank you.
That's only because it didn't come with Magpul accessories.
One thing I'm kind of thinking about is if that fist standoff thing winds up being a wildly popular thing. I have a feeling we'll be seeing, Picatinny accessory rail mount fist adapters and
Well,
everybody's going to wind up having those on their guns.
It's interesting because I have seen Glocks with it mounts onto the accessory light rail and it goes in front of the muzzle and it acts just like this and it's kind of got serrated. It's almost like putting a big fat bushing in front of your barrel and it's to protect it from going out of battery. And I couldn't find who sold it. Someone had it on like their airsoft Glock, but it was made out of aluminum. I think that might catch on to kind of the if there's any more like zombie defense crowd out there that think that they need it for hand-to-hand combat while they're reloading or some garbage like that. But
yeah,
pretty interesting. I did just see that. I searched Glock standoff device, and
whatever. I'm still sticking with my K-bar pistol bayonet.
Yeah, I'm
you
going
go.
with just go with the pistol bayonet and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, because
I'm
moving the
going
pistol
with the
back
ever
about an inch is too hard.
what's that?
I think, Rob, what did you say?
I said moving your pistol back about an inch is just too complicated.
Well, if somebody's on top of you
Yeah.
No.
and you're against the concrete, you can't move backwards any. Let's see.
Yeah, Rob, don't you understand? When you totally screw up and you're way behind the curb, you need to be able to depend on your equipment to save your butt. Yeah, take a class.
That's pretty much
Take a
exactly
class.
it.
Maybe more than one.
My thing with it is almost if it's going to be longer anyways, might as well get the extra barrel length. So I think I would just go for the 4-inch. But I could see where it could be useful, but maybe I doubt it'll catch on.
Well, I hope the whole line is successful because it's another American company.
Oh yeah,
and it's
definitely.
a smaller company too. Like Sky down in Florida, I think they are, with their pistols, which come in at a lower price point, but they're still good. And it's an American company. Somehow they're still able to make a profit without, killing the buyer. I mean,
yeah,
because that's what it comes down to.
Right. And I think, like you said a little while ago, the price point is being, it's not too cheap to make people discount it being too cheap, and it's not too expensive to make people discount it as being too expensive. So I think they'll probably, I'm sure we'll see a good bit coming out of reviews and stuff like that.
Yep.
Pretty soon. I think I watched a video. They said the expected release date was the end of November, and here it is, early December, and I couldn't find one for sale. So hopefully by the end of the year, there'll be at least a couple people have them.
They also said they're working with multiple holster companies, so you have a holster for it. I think the smarter way was actually to have it come with a holster, but I mean that's the owner said he didn't want to do that because he didn't want to start stockpiling a bunch of holsters from a bunch of different makers.
Yeah.
He said they want to sell holsters, let them sell them, not him.
Yep.
I think he's a smart businessman. I hope it works out for him.
Plus, you never really know how they're going to carry the gun, whether it's going to be inside the waistband, outside the waistband, right hand, left hand,
Right.
I mean, XDs, Springfield line of XDs and stuff come with a holster already, right?
Yeah, and my holster for my XD's in the box. I never took my holster for my XD or my SIG out of the box.
Yeah, to come with a holster that was worthwhile, it would increase the MSRP by quite a bit. So that's probably one thing they're thinking of too. If it's just going to be a cheap junk holster that's going to fall apart or nobody's going to carry it, why include it? And if you're going to put a expensive holster and this thing's going to be $600 out the store, why would you'd run the risk of people not wanting to buy it?
You kill yourself.
It's a balance.
And I was at the gun store the other day, and then somebody was buying the SIG subcompact, and he had to put a Crimson Trace laser on there. He picks up the holster that came with it, and I said, that ain't gonna fit in there with that laser on there,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I think we gave that one lots of focus. So let's shift a little bit to the next product. This is the Surefire has it. Now, hold your cackling. Surefire has a new product that's kind of buzzing right now. It's called the Sidekick. and it's basically like the smallest keychain flashlight with the most lumens. Basically, I just summed it up for you. But there's a lot of people excited for this. I think TJ's excited, aren't you?
I guess he's muted and doesn't want to answer you.
Unmute yourself.
I think you fainted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm a little bit, contrary to Tony, I'm a little excited about this thing. Do you want me to run down the specs on that one too?
Why not? People like hearing your voice over mine anyway.
Do they? I don't like hearing my voice. Anyways, basically it's called the Surefire Sidekick Ultra Compact Variable Output LED Flashlight is their tagline. And it seems to be probably about the size of like a small, what do you call the little remotes for your car? The little entry, remote keyless entry things. But it has a boasts 300 lumen high output, a 60 lumen medium, and a 5 lumen low. So as far as I know, this is probably the smallest light with the most amount of output available, really, because this thing is tiny, and it runs off of a rechargeable battery that charges off of a micro USB, which if anybody uses anything but an iPhone, you probably have a charger for anyways, because it's most standard phone chargers other than Apple devices, you know. And it's 2 ounces with the battery. I don't know why they said with batteries, because you can't take the battery out. The length is 2.5 inches. The thickness is 0.58, so it's pretty compact, and it's marketed as a keychain light. You know, you put it on your keys and you always have it with you. And honestly, this is brighter than most people's EDC lights. You know, they're full size lights, and just a lot of lumens for that compact size. And the MSRP, I believe, is $79, but they're on Amazon for $69, so $70. And at first, you kind of think about it, you're like $70 for a keychain flashlight. But then when you think about the lumens versus size, you know, versus features, you kind of, I start to get it at least. I know Tony doesn't care either way, just because it's too expensive. And trying to see if I missed anything. Obviously, it's got Surefire's warranty. The switch on it is just a click type. You know, you cycle through the modes. It's got the 3 modes, 3 output settings, no crazy flashes and SOSs to screw with you when you're just trying to find your keys in a backpack or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool that they didn't include those generally useless features.
Yeah,
it's polymer body.
It doesn't.
That's about it.
The only thing I didn't see, and I don't know if it's the Surefire stuff, if you have it on, say, medium, and then you leave it for an hour or even a few minutes, does it go back to high automatically when you push it again?
Yeah, I was kind of curious about the user interface, because being a keychain light, you're probably going to use it for finding your keys, or finding a keyhole, or looking for your tying your shoes at night, or looking for just something little you lost, kind of. So you're probably going to want it on that low, mostly, and then if you need the 300, I would imagine it would come on low or medium, and then you could turn it on high if you need it to.
Right.
But,
yeah, I was just curious, and I couldn't find where it said.
Yeah,
so.
They don't have a lot of information about it. They actually just put it on their website probably, half an hour ago. They had like a little teaser, and then they put out the full product page just not too long ago. So looking forward to seeing exactly how it works.
I'm with you, TJ. I actually think this is pretty cool. I mean, it's having a light like this with that much output on your keys or just wherever is just actually pretty cool. I mean, and like you said, how many people have one of these USB chargers, a micro USB? I mean, heck, you even have one in your car, so if it starts going low, you can plug it in while you're driving.
Yep.
I mean, and $70 for it. I mean, that seems like a decent deal to me. I mean, I'm looking at this going, yeah, I already added one to my cart on Amazon, by the way.
Yeah. See, now because I'm thinking with the, let's see, I guess they're kind of comparable current product. They have, Surefire has that wrist light that they came out with maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and just kind of basically like a wristwatch, but it's a flashlight, and kind of James Bondy, I guess. But that thing is significantly more expensive, and it's about the same output, and it's a little bit bulkier. So I'm kind of thinking like this, you're gonna. I mean, I know the wrist light has a little more utility built into it if you need that, kind of search and rescue or something like that is probably the only thing I could think of. But it's about roughly the same size and output. It's the same exact output, honestly, and it's just significantly more. So I'm very surprised that it's at that $70 price point, which I'm glad for. At first I thought it was a little silly, but kind of high for a keychain light. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's not bad, honestly.
Well, Surefire.
Yeah.
Next year they'll have the second version that'll be 500 lumens, and this one will drop in price to $50.
Sidekick.
I only see the one button on it, so I'm guessing it's probably a high, medium, low, off.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a cycle through. I would imagine. I would hope they put it at least medium or low as your starting point, but being Surefire, they like to. I mean, I think Surefire is in that kind of tactical category, so it usually comes on high, and then you can cycle it down. But being a side, a backup light, I guess you could say. I don't know. I guess maybe there's some kind of programmability or something where you can pick which one you want to come on first. I don't know. We'll have to see. They don't specify that on the website.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what it looks like when it finally hits the market and people start doing reviews of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my thing is not that different, but a little different. One, it's a polymer body. Sorry, but I've had enough flashlights and everything else that's made of plastic come off of my keyring because eventually the metal wears through.
Mm-hmm.
And now your $80 300 lumen flashlight is gone, and you can't find it under your seat because, well, it's your 300 lumen flashlight that costs $80. You can't find it. That's cool. That's great. If you want it, get it. I just look at I can get 2 other flashlights almost the same, and I can have more than one because 2 is one is not. Just saying. It's cute. It's good. It might hold up to a lot of pressure, but I'm like, you're still paying $80 for something you hook into your keychain. I mean, you can use the Bear Grylls one. It's like $7. But hey, each his own.
Let's see. I'm trying to read. They might. Hopefully, they thought about what you're talking about there, Tony, and reinforced that little where the keychain attaches.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's
hopefully they have it
on Amazon.
Hopefully they have
it
a little
looks to be polymer to me.
Yeah, it's plastic. Yeah, that's what they said. It's polymer. Excuse me, which is plastic.
I've only seen one other competitor to this product. It's from a company called Nightcore. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nightcore at all.
Yeah, I was actually comparing them to this late today.
Yeah, the Nightcore tube, but it's only 45 lumens. It does have 2 modes, so it's not going to be nearly as bright, but I think that's the only thing that really could compete with it as far as functionality, and it's got the same kind of rechargeable ability to it that the Surefire one does.
Right, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. That's exactly the one I compared it to is that Nightcore you're talking about, and that's significantly cheaper, but it's also significantly dimmer. So it just depends on what you're doing and if you need that 300 lumens kind of thing, Yeah. So it's all up to the consumer. Obviously, they don't.
All up to the consumer. Hey, listen, you want the lumens? You want all the lumens.
Right. I know it'll sell. I can guarantee you this thing will sell.
Says Surefire it'll sell.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, they're like Steven said. Other than that Nightcore, there's nothing else really in this category. I don't think. I think I have the little keychain flashlight I have right now is probably like 15 lumens, if that, and that is a pretty good light output for a keychain light. And this Nightcore being 45 is I thought that was crazy until the Surefire came out and it's 300. You know,
Yeah.
wow, they're really pushing it.
The Surefire's got a reflector behind it and all that kind of regular flashlight stuff.
That's one
the
thing.
Nightcore's a bare bulb. I used to carry around those little Inova Tech keychain lights with just one big button. It had like a little slide option on it where you could turn it to a blink mode or something like that. I use those for a while, but they're not very bright, and as soon as they get wet, they're done.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't mention that you kind of brought up is most of these other keychain lights are just that single LED poking out the front. Well, this being a Surefire, it's actually designed as a flashlight, not just an LED that's poking out the front of the thing. You know, it's got a reflector, and so it's actually going to direct the light to an extent. And from the video, I would hope the video is pretty accurate. This thing has some ridiculous spill on it. It has the widest freaking flood beam I've seen, which is awesome for like a you're looking for something. You don't need a good focused hotspot. You're looking for something in a parking lot, or you're trying to light up an area to find something or something along those lines, which is really cool because a lot of those
apparently will light up the entire garage for you.
Yeah.
In the video, it lit up the entire front of the house like it was Christmas. I'm like, you might as well paint a bat signal on that sucker. I'm just saying. But I'm laughing. I'm looking at it because I use my keychain light. I have one of the mag lights, small ones. I use it to find stuff in the room, pick up while my wife is sleeping when I leave because I leave early. I'm like, I set off 300 lumens in my room while my wife is sleeping. I will get stabbed. So you guys go ahead with your 300 lumen spotlight. I'll choose to live. Because
it's even worse for me. I EDC a 920 lumen light.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not married to my wife. You can't talk to her for 4 hours after she wakes up.
Yeah. Now, speaking of wives, I guess I'll throw in this. I was talking to my wife the other day, and we're talking about flashlights. I have a small thing for flashlights. I really like flashlights, and I don't have a ton. I have quite a few, but nowhere near as many as I've seen online. I'm not as eccentric with it. But she looked at me and she's like, "Well, you're the guy that spent $70 on a flashlight once," and I'm like, "Yeah, once." And she just looks at me and she's like, "No." I'm like, more than once.
Yeah. And probably more.
Yeah, and that's cheap.
Yeah. We actually, at my home, we've gone through and brought the winter stuff out, put the summer stuff back. My wife brought my brass out of the closet that I've been collecting. I still have the boxes. So I pulled them out, and, I had, I don't know, over 100 boxes of 40 caliber. Empty. And she was like, "How many of those are there?" I'm like, "I don't know." It's like 100. She said, "Well, how much did each box cost?" I went, "You mean loaded?" She said, "Yeah." I'm like, $1.
There you go.
I'm like, yeah, it's $1 for a box of 40 cal ammunition. That was all.
Yeah, I might switch to 40 then.
Well, didn't light her so much.
She
maybe
don't
you
know, and I ain't
that
telling.
so easily.
Oh, I light her at the drop of a hat. I mean, I just get found out when she looks.
It's kind of interesting. The Surefire website says coming soon, while the Amazon link I posted, I'm pretty sure it says in stock.
Yep.
Yeah.
This 9 left.
11. Oh, 9 left.
Yeah.
7.
In stock, but no reviews yet.
They must be listening to the show.
I think
It's
people are
got to be
buying them
those
up.
drones they use.
You're
People are
welcome.
buying them up because there's only 7 left now. Tony said 11, Ryan said 9, now there's 7.
7.
By the time the show airs, there won't be any. Or maybe there will be more.
Cool.
Different seller.
Well, that'll be an interesting stocking stuffer for the next couple of years. Honestly, if that showed up in my stocking, I wouldn't shrug it off. I'd be like, oh, cool. I do have it is goofy if you have a fob like for your vehicle on your keychain and then you add this to it.
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have two kind of black bulbous things attached to your keychain.
Excuse me? Oh.
Jesus.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, moving on. Oh man.
Hashtag bulbous lights matter.
Okay, so next we're gonna get on to the main topic of reviews, and I've been meaning to review the I talked about it a couple weeks ago, the target hit indicator systems. So you hook it to your steel target and you shoot it, and it basically flashes you. But I've been wanting to video record it for the review, so you guys can see as I shoot, how it flashing back at me. But it's been raining nonstop, so that hasn't been real conducive to recording video and having equipment out there. So that's going to have to be postponed until I finish that up. But Chad the man came today, and he goes, I got this. I got a review. So what are you reviewing today, buddy?
I am actually reviewing, it is the V7 Weapon Systems, it's kind of a long name, Hybrid 3-Gun Sport Selector. It's a safety selector, which I don't know if you guys can see or if my video is good enough. But what it is they sent this for review. I think TJ has something to review from him also, but I don't know what he's doing. And if you haven't heard of V7, they make pretty high quality titanium aluminum combination parts for AR-15s, AR-10s, maybe a few other things. They actually happen to be located in Oregon, which is good for me because they're just down south of me. But the workmanship on the products I've seen of theirs, I've seen some of their other products just because people have had them or they've been for sale, and the machine work is just excellent. I mean, I just don't really know how they do it. So they sent this safety selector. It is ambidextrous. It has your standard size, well, it's a little oversized lever on the standard left side and then a shorter one on the right side, which is kind of a given. And the kind of cool thing about this selector is you can convert it from either a 57-degree short throw, which is how I have it positioned, or you can turn the inside core around and make it a standard 90-degree selector, which that in itself is pretty cool. It uses a titanium core, so the piece that goes through the frame is titanium, and then the outer levers are aluminum. They also make a bunch of other ones that are all titanium or thereabouts. And so that's one of the nicest things about it. I actually prefer the shorter throw lever. I think it has something to do with shooting a lot of handguns, 1911s. You can throw it and just kind of rest your thumb on it. I don't know if I can get it in here. You can kind of rest your thumb on the safety, which is kind of cool. To convert it, it's got some torque screws in here, and you take one of them out, slide it out, kind of just like replacing any other safety on a AR. And then you can take both the screws out if you want to turn it around so that your throw levers are correct. And you basically put it back in. I think they say to torque it to like 20 inch-pounds or something like that. I can't exactly remember, and I don't even think I put it in my review, but it's in their instructions. It's on their website, so you can do that. This particular safety lever is pretty serrated. You can look at the pictures on the Firearms Insider review. You can get a better idea. I don't think my camera will show it here. And it reminds me of like a motocross peg on like a motorcycle or something. It's kind of got that kind of sharpness to it and a hollow inside. But you definitely notice if you're on the safety, or off the safety. It can get a little rough if you like rub it on your top of your thumb. If it's hitting there, it can get a little rough. That's kind of about the only thing you could say bad about it. The feel of it, it comes with a new detent and spring, so I don't know if you really need it, but it's kind of a nice touch that they do. It locks up solid, no play left, right, or when it's in the detent, so that's always a good thing. Has really good feel when you flip it between safe and fire. I tried it both on the 90 and the 57, and it seemed pretty much the same on both. So it comes in at 0.3 ounces is what it weighed on my scale. V7 says it's 9.77 grams, which is 0.345 ounces. So who knows if mine's lighter or mine weighs that and my scale's off. So I'll go through the Firearms Insider key points. The claim to fame on it, it's convertible ambidextrous safety for air-style rifles, converts between 57 and 90 degrees. You could also take the Ambi one off if you want and just have it as a normal selector if you wanted to. The target market is 3-gun, as mentioned in the product name, but anybody looking to upgrade to an ambidextrous safety or looking to build a super lightweight rifle, it's lighter than the standard. The features and benefits, it's convertible. I kind of talked about that already. It's ambidextrous, it's lightweight, it's corrosion resistant. They put a black iron bond coating on the titanium part and then hard coat anodize on the aluminum part. It's got a lifetime warranty, so if it does ever give you problems, you can send it back to them. And it comes with the safety detent and spring. It's made in the USA. This particular model only comes in black. You can also have it, if you order a non-ambidextrous one, you can have it in just straight 57 or just straight 90 degrees. It was kind of hard to find too many reviews on this. I had trouble. So what others are saying, the only place I could find it for sale actually was vertexops.com, and there was a review or two on there. And Kelly on there said, I can't say enough good things about the safety. It works very smooth and clean movement, and the lightest one I have found. I will be putting one of these on every build I do. And then there's a user named Johnny, and he did an actual short review on northwestfirearms.com, and so I just kind of took a section out of it. There are very few AR manufacturers that I've tried that I could recommend and give a 5 out of 5 stars, but V7 Weapon Systems is certainly one of them. V7 is a common cure for the AR without a doubt. The ambidextrous model comes in at $63 if you order it from V7 Weapons, and that's the MSRP. And the retail was at Vertex Ops was $61.11. Why such an odd price? I don't know. So if you need it now, go to V7 or Vertex Ops. Our rating, the pros, I gave it lightweight, ambidextrous. Biggest one's probably the convertible between 57 and 90 degrees. It has a really solid feel. The levers are quite a bit wider than the normal kind of rounded over levers. Has beautiful machining. And the cons, which were kind of hard to find, it's pretty sharp. If you have gloves on, it's really nice because you can still kind of feel it through the gloves, but without them, it's a little sharp. And what kind of surprised me, they didn't include a little Torx wrench, which, I don't know, it seems like anytime you buy something nowadays, it seems like they always throw in a little Allen wrench or something. I mean, it's like a 2-cent part probably, so it doesn't really matter. So I actually really like this, so I gave it a score of 9, which is amazing. And it's pretty much been amazing, so that's why I gave it such a high rating. That pretty much sums it up, so if you guys have any comments, I can maybe help you out.
Yeah, actually, I don't remember if you mentioned it or not. Did you say did you mention that one side is shorter than the other one?
Oh, no, I did not mention that. Yes, the standard, the side that would be, if you're left-handed or using it, is shorter than the standard side that you would use on a standard AR.
Yeah, that can
So,
help it
yeah.
from getting kind of caught under your knuckle, under
Yeah,
your finger or something like that.
That was my only question because I've used some ambi safeties, and it's like this thing's getting in my way.
Mhm.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
can the
it's-
longer side be swapped over to the right side of the rifle for left-handed shooter?
You can. It's
Okay.
basically, it sits on just kind of just a flat, and both sides do, so you can swap them around.
That's excellent. I've been looking for an ambi safety selector, and I don't really know where to start. So this is helpful to me right now.
Yeah, if you go to their site, they have a bunch of different ones also.
Yeah, they have
So-
I guess the one you have is the 3-gun / competition or what do they call it again?
Right. It's the hybrid
The
3-gun sport.
/ sport. Yeah, that's what it is. 3-gun
Right.
/ sport, which is the where it's a little bit wider, I guess, for you to have a little more purchase. But they make
Right.
like a more standard profile one that
Right.
it looks more similar to a standard AR. Of course, V7 puts their little flair on everything, so it looks really nice, but it's more that same form factor as the kind of standard, but it still has the 57 and 90 options, and then the shorter offside, I guess you could call it, and titanium core, which probably doesn't shave too much off, but I guess if you're trying to
Right.
save every absolute ounce, that little bitty piece of titanium over a little piece of steel could help. But anyways, that one, it's not as aggressive as Chad was saying, so like, you're not cutting yourself if you're switching it on and off, which I don't know if Chad didn't mention cutting himself, but he did mention it being abrasive. So.
Right. Yeah,
And it does come in colors. Chad's doesn't, but the sport doesn't, but the standard ambi does. It comes in black, FDE, and OD.
So when it says 57 and 90, it's 57 or 90. You can't do it like 60 degrees or 70 degrees or anything like that, right?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
And they do have some pictures blown up on their website where you can kind of look at it's kind of like the detents on the left side of the rifle. Well, they have it on the one side is the 57 and the other side's the 90. So just depending on which side you flip the internal part.
And I can hold this up here, and you can't really see from my standpoint, but there is one thing that I don't think, I couldn't find it said, and I didn't email them or anything, but I don't think it'll work with an actual M16. I think it is strictly semi-auto because of the way it's got to have 2 relief cuts inside. One of the pictures, you can kind of see them on my review, but I think that makes it so it wouldn't be usable on an M16, and the D10s aren't cut far enough for it either.
That's an interesting note. I wouldn't have even thought to think of that.
Not that many people probably want one for their M16.
Yeah.
So.
Well, aren't they all fully automatic? AR-15, M16, same thing.
We'll see if you
With
put a
the,
bullet
bullet
button. Yeah.
Bullet button on it? Oh, okay.
I think they're calling it multi-automatic now.
Oh.
And they're .223
Yeah, that's the new buzzword.
Yeah.
Yeah, .223 millimeter.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my review.
Nice.
Cool.
Outstanding.
Thanks.
And this is why this show is bad for me.
Because now you're gonna buy
I
one.
end up, yeah,
Bad
pretty
for
much.
everybody.
I'm looking at it now. It's like I want to put together my new build. I'm doing this slowly. Nothing's going to be a panic. And I'm like, I think I'd like to rock a ambi safety because my regular build is polymer lower. I'm cool with that, but I want to build, a traditional. And I'm like, yeah, this would be pretty cool. Just doable stuff that actually serves a purpose, not just to have it, but to actually serve a purpose on your rifle. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And this seems smart.
Right on. So thanks for that review, Chad.
Yep.
Good job. Next up, we're going to talk about for the Tech Gadget app. We're going to talk about a rangefinder from SIG. It's called the Kilo 2000. It's a 7 by 25 millimeter rangefinder that's boasts some pretty fantastic numbers as far as what they're claiming the maximum range is. If you guys aren't familiar with rangefinders, there might be just one number saying, "Oh yeah, I could range up to 1,200 yards," but that's kind of like under the most ideal conditions and the reflective quality of your target, because trees and boulders and deer and paper targets all reflect differently. So SIG actually has this rangefinder, the Kilo 2000, and it has 3 advertised numbers. It's saying reflective targets 3,400 yards, which is just astronomically crazy to imagine being able to range that far. Deer, they actually break it down between reflective deer and then trees. Deer, it says they can do up to 1,200 yards, which is kind of really what I've been after all along. And nothing's really, done that. Usually it always falls short at around 900 to 800 yards. And then trees, it does 1,500 yards. So if this is true, using some of the new technology that they're using, they call it the revolutionary lightwave DSP technology, enabling it to range faster at longer ranges with increased accuracy. And then in scan mode, it refreshes at a rate of 4 times per second, which I guess is pretty fast when it comes to rangefinders. It's got a proprietary Lumatic OLED display with an ambient light sensor which continually monitors the light conditions and adjusts the display brightness accordingly automatically. So it's not going to be too blaring bright unless it's kind of really dark out, and then when it's kind of daytime, it'll adjust accordingly. And then it also has angle compensation. They call that the AMR, angle modified range. So it gives you a true shooting distance by analyzing the line of sight and the shot angle. Because everybody knows, or you should know, that if you're shooting uphill or downhill, gravity is going to have a different effect on your trajectory than you might think. It's different than shooting straight across. It's also waterproof and fog-proof, and it's got a lightweight magnesium body, multi-position twist-up eye cup for custom fit, and it's covered by their infinite guarantee and electronics limited warranty. It's supposed to range to the nearest tenth of a yard, and it looks pretty unique. Of course, all their latest SIG optics kind of have almost like a stealth bomber look to them, kind of angular and more geometric than the competition, and this definitely fits that part pretty good. So, let's see, the MSRP on it is $624, but TJ, he found it on Amazon for $500. So what do you guys think about this?
I sure did. So what you're saying, deer are less reflective than, say, a stop sign?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. What did you say for the first number was like 3,500 yards?
3,400 yards.
Yeah, that's
so, I mean,
that's 2 miles, guys.
Yeah.
That's just shy of 2 miles. I had to look it up because I was like, wow, that's nuts. 2 miles is 35-20. So that's a football field short of 2 miles. Like that is
Yeah.
impressive.
I'd be happy if
That's
it just
pretty insane.
accurately gave me 1 mile, but the fact that they're saying that, I mean, I really think that it's got to be the most reflective target in order to reach that peak.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I
a
don't
mirror.
know. Yeah, like a mirror. But if it could reliably do 1,000 yards and 1,200 yards on deer, I'd be pretty satisfied, because that always seems whatever. I think I was using a loophole. It's got a long number designation. Some SWAT team had left it on the roof of a building, and I found it. And yeah, they didn't get it back. But yeah, it's I think the farthest I've ever gotten on it on an average day with good reflection was about 930 yards.
Was that a known distance that you could verify?
No, because it was across the river, so I wasn't gonna pace it out.
Okay.
I got a quick question because it's funny to me. Okay, I lived in Trenton, New Jersey, and I never got a battlefield pickup of a scope. What kind of life do you lead that SWAT teams had to run and leave equipment behind?
It happens more often than you think, so I'm always on them rooftops checking for lost equipment, man. You never know when you're gonna find something good.
Just don't be on the rooftop with a rifle. You might rise suspicion.
Right?
Yeah.
No, he's just got a scanner in his car, right?
And if you find a rifle on the rooftop, leave it there. Call the police.
Yeah. Plus, I'm a fat guy on the roof this time of year. They think it's Santa.
Yeah, but really, so you said the max they claim for deer is 1,200. Is that what you said?
Yep, 1,200.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I mean, for them to break it down, I don't know if most. I mean, I've never looked into range finders and all that, but do most companies break it down like that, like reflective versus deer versus trees kind of thing, like they did?
Yeah, they might do it like reflective versus deer.
Okay.
Yeah, non-reflective. So yeah, if that's true, I'd be impressed, and I'd be picking one of these bad boys up, because if you want to do any kind of rifle hunting with like 338, you spend all this money. It's I want the 338 Lapua Magnum, and if I see an elk at 1,000 yards, I want to take a poke at it. Well, if you think it's 1,000 yards and it's 900, or vice versa, that's a large difference, and you're going to probably go over the top or under the bottom of the animal. So you really need an accurate measurement, definitely within 100 yards when you're talking about that much range and the trajectory involved. I mean, even more if you're using a 308 and you're kind of, really arcing those bullets in there. It's really going to make the difference to you. Also, if you just want to shoot competitively and test your skills, it's nice to be able to know exactly what yardage you're working with. If you're going to, pick a spot to set up your where you're shouldn't be shooting position, and then you're going to walk out or drive out and put your target up somewhere, it's kind of nice to have a tool that'll accurately give you a good yardage. So that way you're not kind of roughly estimating it the whole time. One thing I didn't mention, it does run on one CR2 battery. They don't really advertise a runtime on this because it's kind of intermittent. It's not like someone's going to leave it on scanning constantly for hours on end. But
so this is just kind of the thing, you pick it up, press the button for 2 seconds, and put it back down.
Yep. And it does have a 7 power magnification, so a lot of times it kind of helps like a miniature binocular or monocular. Give you a little bit more magnification for close range without pulling your rifle up.
Yeah, so you could use it for spotting a little bit too.
Yep.
Now this thing says it's accurate to within 1/10 of a yard, which is less than 4 inches. It's like 3.6 inches.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
So that is impressive.
Definitely a little bit overkill for archery hunting, because what archer is taking that 1,200 yard shot? But
a legendary one.
Legendary one. This is definitely going to be for rifle hunters and precision shooters that wanted the ability to range that far.
Yeah.
So it can go to 2,000 yards?
Oh, yeah.
It can reach out to 2,000, right?
Yeah. I mean,
No, because I mean,
go ahead.
I shoot my Mosin with iron sights. I shoot my Mosin with iron sights, and it says that I can reach out to 2,000. So I just want to be able to,
Verify.
use this laser rangefinder for when I'm shooting my Mosin at 2,000 yards with iron sights.
So a $500 rangefinder to sight in your $100 gun.
Excuse me, it was $125. Take that back right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
You bought
your
it.
mouth.
You got your Mosin late in the game then.
No, I got to finish Mosin
Ah.
in 1993 when you were born. So watch your
I
lips.
was born in '91.
That 2,000 yard mark on your rear sight on your Mosin, that's only for aircraft. That's not
Yeah,
meant
actually,
for land
yeah.
targets.
If I remember correctly, I heard the Mosins aren't even in yards or meters. They're just in like arm length or something weird. I forgot what it is.
No,
Like
it starts with an A. I can't remember it, but it's like a little
Acres?
over 3 feet.
That was the original, like the original 1891s. They were in that strange measurement. When they went to the 9130s, they actually put them in whatever imperial measurement they were using.
okay,
Probably meters.
so they updated.
No, it's not meters. Yeah. But yeah, it's some weird thing. But yeah, I was just joking. Of course, I don't shoot my Mosin at 2,000 yards iron sight. Somebody will quote that like I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
This is
I just
Jersey.
can't
We don't
imagine
have
having the
2,000 straight
space to
yards. Yeah, shoot it.
having the yardage to go out that far is unfathomable in North Carolina.
Yeah, Jersey too. That's like 3 cities.
Exactly.
You'll be shooting stuff in Brooklyn.
Hey, don't
from
say that on the
Jersey.
radio.
What radio?
We'll just be shooting a lot of pine trees here.
Yeah.
Yep, same here. So where are you
Yeah.
at, Steven?
I'm in smack dab in the middle of North Carolina, right off I-40.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Louisiana. We got a bunch of pine trees down here too.
Cool. So yeah, check that out. For $500, that's actually a really good deal compared to some of the competitors on the marketplace, like really high-end Leupold ones and Bushnell ones.
Yeah. The cool thing about Amazon is you can go right down and see, what other customers viewed, and it's like the Bushnell is like at 482, and it claims it has a 1 mile range. I'm like, well, this beats it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you also go by the
For a
name
few
of the
dollars
product
more.
and who makes it.
So there's no reviews yet. So if Sig wants to send me one, I'd be more than willing to do a non-biased review. I will drive back to Wenatchee because there was a couple spots where I could, stretch it out far in between canyons. I miss that that desert. So let's get on to the. I guess we're done with the products. We don't have any listener feedback right now. Oh, actually, you know what? I lied. We do have listener feedback because of this giveaway that I have. I already got somebody on the website, one person on Facebook to participate in that. I'll go ahead and read it on the air. So this was from Joe Catsworth. He said episode 100 was his favorite. That was a suppressor special. He said the guys got into the weeds on several different models, and I learned some things that I didn't know. Yes, this episode also helped me narrow down on my choices on which company and which model I want to purchase. So, right on. He said in his iTunes review, great and informative podcast. I look forward to each new episode. The hosts are always comedic about things and each other. This makes it easy to listen to and keeps it from being boring and technical. So, yes, that can be said about us. So. Awesome. Next up, second is for everyone, diversity shoots and other such events. I'm going to let Tony go ahead and get his plug time in. What do you got, buddy?
All right. Ordered a bunch of new stuff for giveaways and raffles or whatever donations at the Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot. This comes up on February 4th at Gun for Hire Range, Woodland Park, New Jersey. The entire thing is developed to get people of color, of different religions, of different backgrounds to come together, come to the range for a great night out. I have speakers to come out and tell you about different organizations that they run, like the New Jersey Second Amendment Society came out. The NRA ILA came out to speak. We had 4 different speakers last time. And then we had 2 hours of fun shooting everything you can get your hands on, from M1 Garand to Tavor to pistols from the late 1800s, single actions and double actions from the late 1800s. So pretty much it's a fun event, very inexpensive to come out, and I'm talking like $10 an hour range time. Over 200 rental guns if you choose to. It's a fun event. My next one is February 4th, 2016, 6 p.m. Come to Simon Says Train, or the second is for everyone. This week I'm going to be putting a new date and posting more pictures from it. Last time we had over 50 people. We gave away a couple of $100 worth of stuff. Not giveaway, but raffled off a couple of $100 worth of stuff and gave everybody about $30 worth of gear just for showing up. So come to Simon Says Train, or second is for everyone on Facebook, and Simon Says Train on Instagram. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem, buddy. So that's it. So in summation, send questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, cross at firearmsradio.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. And remember to check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. I got lots of good stuff on there for all sorts of gun enthusiasts and the like. Be sure to visit us on the Firearms Insider for future reviews and industry coverage. And I hope everyone has a safe week getting ready for the holidays. I think either this next podcast, which would be the 15th, I think we're gonna do like a Christmas, like last minute gifts for gun lover or gun enthusiast special. I'll try and pick some products that might be easy for you to find that would kind of be good for the gun lover in your life. I would highly recommend the Tavor. It's only $2,000 MSRP. It's small enough to fit in most large stockings. I'm just kidding.
The Surefire Sidekick will fit in pretty much any stocking.
Yeah, the Sidekick would definitely work. So anticipate some knives and some lights on that one.
Small tools, probably.
Small tools.
Mm.
All right, guys.
Springfield M1A Scout.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry. I was just throwing my wish in. Springfield M1A Scout.
Yep, SOCOM
I
16.
could use one. Yeah, SOCOM 16.
There you go.
That's a
All right,
good
well,
choice.
thanks, guys, for joining me. Steven, thanks for joining this one. I hope it was everything you dreamed of.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure.
Yep. Thanks for joining, Stephen. Good meeting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to meet you guys as well.
Yep, look forward to having you on more shows in the future, bud.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. All right, everyone, have a good night, and I'll catch you on episode 112.
See you everybody later.
See you next week.